The Stand by Stephen King. Stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Three River Books. So I am back from the woods. I know there's a lot of folks out there that haven't seen me in a while. It's because I do have a hunting season. I try to go out in the woods. Unfortunately, I did not get a deer this year. I did get a bear, but I did not get a deer. That's okay. That's why they call it hunting, not shopping. While I was out there, I did bring to the hunting cabin a copy of The Stand. You might think, why do I have all these copies of The Stand? Well, funny story. I tried to purchase this size book, which is like a 5x6 or something like that. I think it's a 5x9 or 5x7. And I got this by mistake. I went to Barnes & Noble and picked this one up. But while I was there, I got the Barnes & Noble edition. All right, this is the Barnes & Noble edition. Highly recommended. It's not too overly expensive, but it does give you a couple nice features, such as the golded edges, and it has the orange with the crow on the back. A couple different, motifs, if you will. But it's inside. It's basically the same as this book. All right, so if you go to Amazon or if you go to eBay, I got this one on eBay, all the internals of this book is the same exact as this book. So it's the same. The only difference is obviously the cover. This is a Barnes & Noble edition, where this is the actual Doubleday edition. Now, you can get this in hardback if you want. This is readily available. Most of you guys that read The Stand already know where you can get your edition, so it's not big of a deal. You could also get it on Kindle if you are a Kindle reader or somebody that wants to read it in electronic format, so you don't have to carry around these tomes. Originally, The Stand was a book that was written, I think, in 1974, and when they were publishing back then, they needed to make the book condensed. They went to Stephen King and asked him if he can cut some pages, and he did. He cut about 400 pages out of the original Stand, and then later on, when things became a little bit more affordable and printing went overseas, it got a lot cheaper, so you can get the complete and uncut that was made in the 1990s. Now, they also made movies out of them. There is an older version of the Stand. I think it was like a movie series, and then the 2020 version, which is what looks like this book. So these are the movie edition type Stand covers. It doesn't really matter. The difference is that in the original movie, or in the original movie, it is more like the book. The 2020 edition used different actors, obviously, different techniques. There was more technology available. It seemed to be all chopped up. Now, this is not a review about the movie edition. This is a review about the book itself. So if you read The Stand and I get something wrong, I apologize. But it took me about a month to read this book. And this is the one that I read most because, like I said, I was in the tree stand reading The Stand, waiting for a deer to come around. So there's a little irony there. All right. So that being said, let's get into it. This will be I'll put all the spoilers at the end like I do on most of all my reviews. So if you haven't read The Stand, I would recommend it. Go ahead and buy it. I'll put the Amazon links down below if you're interested in any of these. This is a Barnes & Noble exclusive only, so you have to go to Barnes & Noble if you want this one. But I am an Amazon affiliate, and if you purchase from me, I get like pennies on the dollar for every purchase. So thank you for that. Another way to support this channel is very simple. Just like, subscribe, and share. That's all you have to do. Hit that little thumb icon, give me the thumbs up, and hit the bell. If there's something that you want to specifically write about this book, or if I got something incorrect, just put it down in the comments below. If you want to be a Patreon member, it only costs you $1 a month, and that's another way to support me. I'll put all the links down below so we can get on with this review. All right, guys. So overall, what this book is about is that there is a super virus, sort of like COVID, right? A super virus called Captain Trips, and there's other different names, and it was developed on a military base. However, it got out. One of the guards at this local military base escaped. He drove across country to Texas, and then as he's driving, his family got infected, everybody got infected, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. That is the start of the book in any version that you get. All right. So this virus gets out. It starts killing people. It is a super flu. People mutate and try to almost get better, and then it kind of crushes the body. There are a certain select few, while this gets out, that are immune to it. And, of course, the military is trying to figure out why. So there are a group of people that are quarantined. Stu was one of them. That's one of the main protagonists in here. And some of these people are just regular average Joes, and nobody knows why, but they are immune to this virus. 90% of the populace wind up dying from the super flu, and the other 10% are the survivors. All right, so now this is where it gets a little bit philosophical or religious. There is a woman that is Mother Abigail. She's 108 years old. I think she lives in Kansas. I think it's Kansas. And she travels to people's dreams and has people kind of migrate her location where, again, they're going to meet up and try to start a society. There is another group of people that go to Randall Flagg. Randall Flagg is the dark man, or the walking dude, or the bad guy, if you will. And they're all going to meet up in Vegas. While this is going on, you'll see a lot of character work. I mean, there's so many characters in this book. Again, I could see why 400 pages wouldn't even make a difference. So you have the good versus evil kind of trope going on here. Everybody has suffered some type of hardship. They've seen their families die, their friends die, their loved one dies, their baby dies, and they're just trying to survive to get to these two locations. Once they get to these two locations, again, Mother Abigail says, well, this is no good. We have to go over to Colorado for whatever reason. There's a power plant there. We'll probably be a little bit safer there. Instead of being out in a rural environment, we go to Colorado and we'll start a society. There is violence in here. There is sex in here. There's a lot of cursing. There's a lot of individual or POVs in this book because there are so many characters. If you don't know about Stephen King, he can get a little bit on the raunchy side. So if you're somebody that's sensitive to it, all right, there's a lot of raunchy parts in here. There's some cannibalism that might take place. There's also a lot of religious undertones, and these people are struggling to try to survive. But then once they get together, they're trying to figure out how a new society would work better. There are a couple other people that come from different professions. So you have guys that are really good at engineering. You have people that was a sociology professor. So he's trying to create some type of interim government with the good people. And the bad people, or the flag type people, are just, it's a more of a monarchy type of system where he's the boss and he has underlings and they work. But everybody senses that he's super evil. There is a lot of interaction with the underlings and how they feel, and a lot of folks sort of like feel like now once you're part of this clique or this group, now you can't leave. Flagg is a very, very evil entity. And I say entity because he is not a human. All right, so from this point on, if you want to click off, that's fine. Because I'm going to get more into the spoilery parts right now. All right, so what did I feel about this book? I think that this book's been around for quite some time. It's a fantastic book. I think if you're into dystopian, end of the world, super flu, I wish I would have read this during COVID. It would have made so much sense. I know I'm a little bit late, so be it. I'm always a little bit late to the party. But it was a great book. It was more of a 1970s style book, not so much as a 2023 or 2024 book. All right. So there's some technologies and words and lyrics and things that you probably won't get if you are a millennial. But someone that grew up in the 80s and 90s, I get everything that he was trying to say, and I understand the cars, the techniques, and the tropes that he was using made sense back then. So it is not a new book. If you're trying to go into it like, hey, this is the new dystopian end of the world COVID 2020 edition, 2020, 2021, it's not that, okay? It's completely different. I will say the end of the book, and Stephen King kind of has a problem ending books, but I think it was done very well. Again, I'm not going to spoiler it too much for you, but there is a nuclear explosion. One of the guys, Trash Can Man, everybody's a big fan of that. He's part of Flag's group. He is a complete psychotic, firebug, whatever. And he winds up blowing half the people up, even though they survived the super flu, because he finds a nuclear weapon. And, of course, the military's all dead, so they can't stop him. And then that's where kind of the book kind of, that's it. It's like, okay, you could have ended it right there, but then it kind of went on and did like a little bit of a backstory. So it is a warrior trying to get home kind of thing. There's a lot of good guys that get killed in the process. A lot of, growing up or coming of age. People that started with the super flu in their regular normal lives were kind of losers, and then they wind up either being heroes or villains. I like that aspect of the book. Like, you had this choice. You were saved from the superbug, and you had to make your own decisions because there was no police, there was no law, there was no order telling you what to do. It's all inside your head and inside your heart. And if you decide to go to the evil side, you're probably going to go over to Flag. And if you are a wholesome, good person that believed in people, you're probably going to go over to Mother Abigail. A lot of references to the Dark Tower. There's a lot of Easter eggs, I will say. I'm not a Stephen King expert, but I wanted to read this because I did watch the movies back in the day. I watched the movies first, and I never read the book. These books are like 1,300 pages, so they're not easy to read. I did use a lot of audiobooks because sometimes I had to work with my hands or I was driving, especially going to my hunting cabin. And then when I wasn't doing that, I had this in the stand, waiting for my prize buck to come around, which never did. So be it. That's why it's hunting, right? Love the book. I think if you are a Stephen King fan, this is going to be a classic. This is absolutely a classic now. It will be a classic for the time to come. Even when Stephen King passes away, The Stand will be an absolute must-read. Good versus evil, when society collapse type of trope, all right? You decide if you're going to go to the good side and try to regain some of that humanity, even though you suffered tragedy, or you're going to use your tragedy for evil and try to destroy other people's, all right? So it's a great book. Has a lot of sci-fi or evil type, or I should say Stephen King type stuff going on. So I'm a big fan. I would recommend it. I know that there's an order if you're going to read The Dark Tower, and Stephen King's books are The Stand is part of that Tower series. So if you're going to read The Tower, you should probably read The Stand as well. All right, guys, I hope you appreciated that book review. I have tons of stuff coming up, so please make sure you hit that bell icon. I want to wish everybody very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year if I don't see you guys. I'm super, super busy. This is the end of the year. I have a bunch of other stuff going on my other channels, so check out Three River Blades, Three River Kydex, Three River Survival. If you're into hunting, I posted all my videos. Thank you very much, guys, and as always, keep reading.